Flowers are symbols of love. Their presence and beauty are essential to wedding ceremonies and celebrations. Floral designers around the world are embracing the diversity of tropical flowers and foliage to add excitement and intrigue. Anthuriums, orchids, proteas, tropicals, foliage, blooming plants, and interior scape plants. The Tropical Nouveau style blends tropicals and temperates. And the world's best tropical flowers, foliage, and plants are grown in Hawaii. Microclimates provide ideal conditions for growing a range of species and varieties. In the summer of 2019, the Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association organized 4 floral design workshops with a focus on weddings. The workshops featured internationally acclaimed floral designer Hitomi Gilliam, AIFD, and local designers from each island. The first workshop was in Honolulu on the island of Oahu.
We have 2 different sort of concepts in floral design, and particularly in wedding work. We have a set that we sort of come up with. It's called like Neotropica, which is the style or types of design where all the flowers that are being used are local and from Hawaii. And this is something that we also like to pitch, not just in Hawaii, for local for you, but on the mainland when they're doing a wedding that's beachy, you know, in Oceanside and whatever, where it's really appropriate to do, work with tropicals. We like to say that that's really a suitable collection of flowers to use for that purpose. But on the other hand, we have what we call Tropical Nouveau that we've been pitching. The whole idea of mixing tropical flowers with temperate flowers. And with wedding work, I think it is really most appropriate because it's really hard to get brides bought into 100% just tropicals. You know, maybe the texture, maybe the colors are a little bit too harsh, and by throwing the mixture of garden flowers in it, it softens it up, and so we can get that beautiful gardeny look. So, what do you have? Debbie?
I have first of all, syndicate sales, and some of you may know Holly Chappell, the floral designer, invented this cage, which she calls
egg. Yeah.
Okay, this shape is an egg. So it's this little oval, and it comes in different sizes. So this is constructed with this egg. Okay, and it is Tropical Nouveau. You can see I have incorporated anthuriums. This is a new variety of Mocara orchid, which is called, it doesn't have a name yet, but it's a burnt orange.
There you go.
Yeah. And I've got some tea leaf, variegated tea leaf in here, seeded eucalyptus, shimmer roses, what else do I have in here? Carnations, and some pincushion protea. And the style is kind of a wild, loose style, which is really in right now with the younger crowd, and they call it bohemian.
When you use this, you started out with basically the first insertion that then you're holding, so that stem goes through both the layers, correct?
Mm-hmm, correct.
And did you use it like this, or did you use it like this?
I used it like
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good idea. The other idea that you can start with is actually putting a piece of taped wire and actually create a handle already, and then you can design into it. So you can do it either way. Yeah. So the combination, the colors, isn't it rich? Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. You know, there used to be a day when it was really difficult for the mainlander florists to buy into the anthurium, because they felt it was too big. They couldn't handle the size. But today, the millennial florists, because that's the whole catch. Actually, there's a whole new generation of florists that's coming in, and they have a different set of eyes. They're much more adventurous, and they want that kind of that contrast. To have that beautiful rose next to Anthurium, it's beautiful, and it kind of captures that texture and combination of colors. That's a gorgeous one. I love what you did with that. Now, Lois does a lot of weddings on Maui, and I've been very lucky to be part of helping her out when she has a big wedding, and so it's been fun.
I like to mix my colors up so that it moves. There's transition, and a lot of times in this palette, it's very, very dark. So that's where I decided to use these, which are beautiful. I think this is the new variety.
Yeah,
Effie. This is the new one, Effie.
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 Okay.
I think Ella's the white.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just show it. Look.
And even in the roses, I've used Tess,
Yeah,
which
that's
is a red.
beautiful red.
And then I think this is Darcy, which is more purple. It's purple tone in it. So it's pulling from the Olena and the Dendrobians, and it kind of just transitions well. But this is very, I think most of my brides actually still ask for a round bouquet. There is no pillow in here. This is pretty much a spiral hand tie.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like I say, look at the play of texture, and then look at the variety safari, the Anthurium safari.
This Anthurium
So
is beautiful, and we don't get to see it very often, so it's an eye catcher. Yeah.
We really need to seriously look at import replacement, because as you can see, some of the textures of the ginger, the smaller ginger, as well as the curcuma, blend so beautifully. So in this one here, I'm going to say it's probably about 65% really tropicals, and the rest of it is the temperates. So by replacing that much with local grown, what a difference it makes in the carbon footprint of all the shipping, all those flowers from the mainland, when you in fact really need to ship such a small percentage. Basically what we try to do is give you some different looks and different structures. And so I want to show you this one here. The style that's becoming really strong right now is really a cascade. How can we get a beautiful cascade out of a hand-tied? That's what it's all about, is how to do that. So this is actually an egg, but this one has actually a structure that is built in, and you can see a little bit of it here that is attached to the egg so that it gives you the spine, so that some of the material could be attached to it so that it goes down. So I'll be demonstrating how to make that mechanics to start with to give you that spine that gives you that look. If you know anything about some of what I do, I actually do this concept a lot. Except for usually before, I used to do multiple, this is the Midolino and the aluminum wire. I used to do multiple, maybe up to 5 or 6 stems to fatten it up, and then I would wrap it with raffia or yarn. So instead of wrapping with yarn or raffia that takes a tedious amount of time, we're just taping it. Because really what we're doing is just building a backbone for the bouquet so that you can get that beautiful curvilinear, that extension of the cascade or crescent. So this lends itself to not just bouquet but for other things, but this just makes it a much quicker method. But I'm still calling it Midolino extender, and the reason for that is the combination of material that I used, but the reason why I put the Midolino next to the aluminum wire and tape it is so that when you bend it, it's always curvilinear. It doesn't bend kinky at all. It always bends beautiful and graceful, so that it has a very Art Nouveau feel. It's like, it's like a vine. They don't kink up like this. Naturally, they always have this beautiful curvilinearness, so that when you build that into the structure that you're working on, it's always going to look very natural. So that's why this is really a good method.
At the workshop, local businesses showcased their products.
Greenpoint Nurseries is a third-generation Anthurium family farm. We do our best to grow and export and be a one-stop shop for anything tropical, whether that be Anthuriums, orchids, tropical foliages, and flowers. Today we mainly brought a lot of the things that we flourish, or we have quite a lot of during the summertime. A lot of cut vandas, mocaras, and orchids. We tried to present a nice variety of anthuriums that we grow on our property, and a very little bit of foliage and tropical flowers.
The owner of Volcano Orchids is Pat Middleton. She is a retailer as well as a wholesaler of beautiful flowers and greenery. She has beautiful dracaenas, teas, all different kinds of teas, ginger, cedars, camellias. Come and meet Pat. She's so helpful. I've been a customer for over 20 years of a very small Ikebana school, and she treats us just as though we were one of the big customers. You know, we're like family.
We're a family, small business, family-owned, second generation nursery. My mom started the business, and then I came into the business about 16 years ago. So we grow a wide variety of plants and foliage. So from landscaping to interior foliage and flowering material. So we have to have a wide variety of plants to service all the different stores that we're in. We do some trendy foliage material now, like this pilea, and we do some hoyas, and we also do the basics like dieffenbachias and philodendrons. And so we carry a wider variety of plant material.
Well, Pacific Floral Exchange is a tropical flower grower shipper established in May of 1989 by Grayson Inouye. And we grow all of these gorgeous flowers you see before you, specializing only in tropical flowers, shipping all over the world. Mainly the anthuriums are what we grow. These are chocolates. And then we bring in the other flowers, the cymbidiums, the ginger, the dendrobium orchids that you see, and the foliage, the greenery, is all brought in from other growers on the Big Island.
After the workshop, participants toured local nurseries. The first stop was Waimea Valley on the north shore of Oahu. The valley has many beautiful locations for weddings, lawns, terraces, pavilions, and the world-famous Waimea Falls. There are Hawaiian cultural sites and a world-class botanical garden. Botanical plant collection specialist David Orr described a few of the specimens.
This is a member of the coffee family, and this also comes from Africa, but this is called Musenda erythrophylla, and it has the same strategy as a poinsettia in that these are not parts of the flower. These are bracts, they're modified leaves, but in this case they serve the purpose as petals. So they bring the pollinators to these otherwise very small flowers. This is one of our native hibiscus, but it might be the very rarest of them all, called Hibiscus immaculatus. And it only comes from Molokai. All parts of this flower are white. These are the only hibiscus in the world that have a fragrance. This is a beautiful hibiscus coquillo that we found up our own valley. The other thing we can see from here is probably the most important plant to the Polynesians, the hala tree. And so what the old Hawaiians would do was peel off the edges with the sharp thorns, then take the rest of the leaf and force it through a shredder. So you have little strips, they're only about 1/4 inch wide, and then those could be plaited together very tightly to make little patches called lauhala. Then those would be spliced together to make the 60-foot sails of the voyaging canoes. This is the only plant that has the tensile strength for making the sails for the Hawaiian voyaging canoes. And so this is why I consider this one of the most important plants to the Polynesians. They couldn't have done their vast ocean explorations without this incredible plant.
The next stop was Alluvian, one of Hawaii's largest distributors of ornamental plants and flowers. Alluvian is a large nursery with over 500 varieties of plants.
We're a wholesaler, and so all of our things, if you look at the pots, all have tickets on them. So we do all the work for all of the companies that we deal with. So we deal with Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, all of the military. So in the greenhouse and the landscape area, we have 500 different varieties.
We actually have 4 different lines of business right now. Our main line is the nursery, and then our second line is a florist. We have a full florist. We do mostly wholesale out of it, but we do have a florist. Our third business is plant rental and plant maintenance, and then we actually have a fulfillment center.
The final stop was the Magoon Research Facility, part of the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Researchers are studying flowers and developing new varieties.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Magoon Greenhouse Facility, which houses our research and instruction programs for the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. It takes about 14 years to develop a new Atrium variety. And that does not even include knowing whether or not it will be a commercial success. So these are some of the varieties that we are testing right now. This is UH-2053. So it's kind of like Regina, but it's the red version. We started putting it in culture. This is White Lady, the mature form. So this is something we have testing, but again, this one has an interesting antique form. The nose gets really red. And on the plus side, it's anthracnose resistance. Just getting the feedback from the end user faster gives us a better perspective as to what is desirable. It's reflective of change and fashion, of course.
So I'm just trying different ways of using native Hawaiian plants. Because right now it's used in the landscape that much, so trying to use it not as a ground cover here, but as more of a hanging basket plant. And I have other stuff here that, I don't know, might be useful as a filler, but we haven't tested any base life on this one. This is a native Chenopodium. So, yeah.
The next workshop was on the island of Kauai.
And so this one here, again, hand-tied bouquet. This one was also done in that little egg. It's all done in that egg. But look at it has the gosmania, the yellow, the golden yellow, that goes with the oncidium, which has the lemon yellow, but it has a more golden yellow in the center. So it really segues really beautiful with these colors. And then I think the yellow goes really nicely into the spadix of the anthurium, which then is the peach, which then leads us to the peach roses. This is actually, what was this one called? Tiffany, I think it is. Beautiful rose. One of my favorite is also Shimmer. I think that's a beautiful rose as well. Carnations also. A little bit of spray roses. So it's really a beautiful temperate combination with tropicals, isn't it? Like, to me, like, this is a no-brainer. If they're coming from Illinois or Minnesota and they're coming to marry here, they must not use hydrangeas and roses alone. I mean, they have to use some of these beautiful flowers. They would regret it for the rest of their life as they look at those pictures and say, here I was with a palm tree behind me and I have this bouquet that you can have anywhere in America. Like, this just has to be the way to go. I just think, like, I love alocasia. It's one of my favorite. African mask is what its common name. Exotic. That's what it means. It's really exotic. And to have that as a combination to overlay, and having that sort of the variation here and having variation of another kind here so that it has that coordination. Use of that beautiful Phalaenopsis draping over it. It's a natural hanging. This would be really great for a runway, like for a bridal show, where you're showing something that is possible for the bride to carry, but maybe a little overdone just for the show. This is obviously a head wreath, like that. I shouldn't be showing you how to do this because you guys do the hakule. I mean, you do it so beautifully. The craftsmanship is so beautiful, and I admire what that is. But I've got to say, on the mainland, I show this as a technique because it's the fastest way to make one of these. First of all, it has 2 stems of Dendrobium orchids, 1 stem of this purple mocara and multiple stems of the spray roses, I can get this thing all flowered up in 15 minutes. That's the thing. Like a profitable florist knows how to get things done fast. So how do we do this one? I'm just going to show you real quick. It takes actually 5 of these to do, because that's really about the right size for a headpiece. So you're just going to put these together. And let's see, and this. Chenille is the best surface for gluing because it's just like so fuzzy. The glue just sinks into it, so it will not come off. And so you have 5, and then I'm going to fold this in half. And then I just go and make these loops like this. But this is basically the mechanic of this, like that. And then on the back side, you just take Oasis glue, like this, and you just put right over that. And then I took these leaves. These are leaves from Leyland's. Feeling the leaves on the head is a lot nicer than ribbon. Yeah, it just feels nice to have natural material. And I just glue it all on the back side, and then you just glue flowers on this side. What I do is actually, I make a big puddle of glue, and I just dip like this. What's really nice about this too, and I have to say, I love the haku, and I love the whole craft of. What I love about this is no matter where you take the picture, from above, from the balcony above, there's flowers all the way around. It's, 3/4, like all the way around. So even from below, like it's full, it's solid. And it's really a good, easy, quick piece to do.
This is a lamp from Walmart.
Walmart, $8.99 lamp.
And so you just cut the wire, strip it out, and you've got a perfect stand. So the ease of this thing is it's on a bridal bouquet holder. So this is a part, you take this, throw it in the back of the truck, and put these in your holder, in your box. You get there, you pop it in the pipe, and if you have trailing vines, you just bring your vines down and around. Oncidiums, Song of India, heliconia, and anthuriums.
Actually, I think it was brilliant that you used a bouquet holder. So I thought you did a great job with that, using that mechanic, because it's very small amount of foam.
Yeah, because it has a cage on top, so it holds everything without the Oasis splitting apart too.
Anyway, so into the arch has, we actually have those pillows, the 6-inch pillows. I zip tied it to the bamboo all over the place so that it's attached like this. And onto that, I actually chenille tie this onto it so that it has kind of the snaky chicken wire over it. And then I just stab into it. So first thing, the Rica palm, they don't need water. 6 hours, it should be fine, right? Correct? You agree? Okay. I'm putting in, what's the name? What is this? Oh, Magnifica. Well, I think that's okay for 6 hours, don't you? Yeah, I think so. So that could go without water. Fern, 6 hours. Yeah, that's fine. There's Rufus palm, 6 hours, fine. Eucalyptus, 6 hours, fine. So why are we pulling our hairs out trying to water tube all those things before when it's going to be fine for 6 hours install from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till, well, maybe 8 hours, 10 o'clock at night. Only thing, like, okay, ginger, fine. Anthurium should be fine. Dendrobium, maybe we might have to water tube those, but you can put 2 or 3 in the water tube, so that should be fine. Hydrangea for sure need water, that for sure. Like it just doesn't hold up without water, so those are water tube. But all of those goes into this.
At the workshop, local businesses showcase their products.
Basically, Kauai Nursery is is a nursery landscape entity. We do, like I said, we have the nursery end, and we also have a design build landscape part of it also. From trees, shrubs, ground covers, you know it. We do sell to the general public, and you have some of the sedum. This is a variety of hemographis we use here. A lot of the grape orchids that's been kind of showy in beds all over the place, but you can also use it in our arrangements like this.
We are Tropical Flowers Express. We've been in business on the island of Kauai for over 35 years, myself, Johnny, and my wife, Teresa. Okay? And we have our 2-acre flower farm up in Kauai. It's nice and cool, about 500 foot elevation. We are growers, exporters, and designers of Hawaiian tropical flowers. So we ship to the mainland. This is a sample here of our Poipu gift box. And it comes with the 8 tropicals and all the foliages. These are brochures that are from Hawaii Tropical Flowers and Foliage Association, our Kauai chapter. And this is a identification guide of all the different heliconias and gingers and all the different types of foliages also.
Wow.
And these are our brochures. We're members of the Hawaii Seal of Quality program.
We offer orchid baskets that we ship to all of the United States, and we deliver these to the local people. And we also have an online presence now that's growing, so we are on orchidalleyKauai.com, and we're on Facebook, and we're heavy into Facebook, so we have species that you won't see anywhere else. So they're very rare, exotic, and if anybody ever wants to check us out, we have a live video on Sundays at 2 p.m. Hawaii time, and we go over how to divide, take care of all these rare and exotic species. So we have quite a following who watches us do that. So if species are your thing, check us out on Sundays at 2 o'clock.
I'm a lei maker, and I've been in business since 1996, making haku lei. That's my niche. When I became a member of Kauai Made and Kauai Grown and HEFNA and the Hawaii Tropical Flower and Foliage Association here on Kauai, my business expanded because I mostly use items that are grown on Kauai.
Do a lot of custom arrangements, interior landscaping, interior design with flowers, succulents, and air plants. We've also got little air plants that we sell just singly. These are really fun little vases. They're all recycled wood, reclaimed wood from job sites here on the island, so we make all of those. We grow the succulents and air plants. My mother-in-law grows the orchids.
After the workshop, participants set out on a nursery tour. The first stop was Tropical Flowers Express, a small farm that grows and sells direct to customers nationwide.
It's variegated. Some people thought it had a virus or a disease, but it doesn't. It's called a Polynesian princess. This is the pincushion protea. I'm not quite sure what the name is here. And there's your variegated ginger leaves. You guys seen these?
Wow, look at the size.
Can you see this? Bellarigera. V, like in Victor. Bellarigera. It's a pendant heliconia. Yeah.
That's a good. So you have that?
This is not your common achote or lipstick plant. This is a hybrid.
Is that why it's so big?
So big and puffy. Yeah. And it lasts pretty well in flower arrangements. And then this other old-timer Anthurium variety, Trinidad.
Wow, that is really, you do?
Yeah. Oh, I've never seen this variety before. I like the yellow pop.
What's great about red ginger, it's a good standby because it blooms all year round. Okay, and this is the Kimi ginger. This is a Kimi. And here's, there's two varieties here. You have the Guadalupe. You guys saw what the Guadalupe was earlier. Okay. And there's another one here. This is a tropic flora.
The next stop was Orchid Alley Kaua'i, a certified nursery that ships live orchid plants and blooming orchid baskets.
I wanted to welcome you. We're at Orchid Alley Kauai, and this is our retail shop, and we have locals and tourists come in and buy orchids here. We ship all over the United States, so that is our biggest business, is shipping orchids, especially Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and Christmas. And we're recently doing a lot of online business through Facebook, so that's where I sell all my species orchids, and so that kind of gives you a quick overview. And now, if you have questions, feel free to ask, because there's some orchids you might have seen before, and I'm sure there's some in here you've never seen before. So this is like a species, Dendrochilum, and this is one that's going off right now. These make beautiful little specimens. So anybody who has a chance, come and smell these. And these are called Vandas, and these are water lovers. They're from Thailand, and this is a big seller. I've almost sold out of these, actually. So what is this variety called? Feliz Sunshine. And I got it awarded, and since it was AOS awarded, I got to name it. And so this is officially named. You can look it up in Google it, Feliz Sunshine.
The final tour stop was Kauai Nursery and Landscaping, a full-service nursery and landscape contracting company. Ornamental plants are among the many products and services they offer.
Here's something that's new, and I'd like to get a tissue cultured. Spider lily. It's one that gets big, like 3-4 feet tall, white. There's a purple flower. This one has pink in it.
This is good for like bridal work.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Gosh, that's gorgeous. What is its common name? Something
It's
boat.
real. It's a real discolor.
Really?
Oh,
R-H-E-O.
Yeah, R-H-E-O. It comes in purple and pink, and yeah.
This is great color.
Silver lady. The dwarf tree fern. Trunk gets about this big around. Blectum fern. Calafia.
That is the color.
How big does the plant
I
get?
know it then wraps and then wraps. Like it's just lovely.
The next workshop was on the island of Maui.
This is really a simple design, because by using 2 pieces of passion vine, it just looks so organic and beautiful, right? And what a cute little piece that is for. And to showcase that kind of orange-colored oncidium in combination with that sort of rust-colored macara. And again, what was this variety called?
Crimson Comet.
I just love them. That's one of the big difference with some of the varieties that are here versus what we get on the mainland. When you go to the wholesaler, you get the same old pins every shipment. A big box of 100 at a time with no character, because I'm so tired of it. When I come here, I see the color, that it's got that little bit of peach in there. It's finer. The texture is so beautiful. I just fall in love with it all over again. When I talk about Middleino extender, the core material is Middleino, along with aluminum wire. So aluminum wire sticks out farther, and then I stagger the Middleino so that it extends the length of the Middleino. And then I just kind of stretch this long and then cut so that it ends with tips of aluminum wire on both ends. So when I tape this, then you have that ability for it to be very malleable, but it thickens in the middle so that, and because it's supported with the Middleino, it never kinks up. It always has beautiful curvilinear form. So basically what I do is I take a little bit of, like a piece of U-glue, and I wrap it around right in there. And then I'm gonna take let's just do this. I'm gonna take the spool of bouillon, in a container so that it just rolls on you, and then just kind of do this quick wrap so that it stays together, because it's nice to just have it together. So this is not the final finish, because what I'm trying to do is really mimic real living vines. Because if I can do that and segue that to the living, then it makes the whole thing come alive. You know, that's what I believe. That's what I love so much about vines, is that you can have a very static arrangement, round arrangement, carnations, mums, whatever, but then you put vine over it, and all of a sudden it looks like it's living and it's growing. Like all of a sudden it's come alive. So I just go to the end, like just over to the end of the middle lino, and then just bring it back just to kind of clean it up a little bit. And then I just go back to the spot where's that U-glue right here. And so this, I just make a lot of these like that. And then I can tape it. But I just want to quickly show you what I do with the yarn, because if you're going to build these, the flower crown, this is really the must. So this is my favorite yarn, but the color is good. It blends so beautifully, right? So what I do is I just take, again, the U-glue. And this is like, I'm constantly, like when I love something that works me so much, I so want people to do it. And it makes me so unhappy when I do these workshops. And I want them to make 2 of these, because that would give you something to work with. And they're tired after the first one, and they won't do the second one. I'm like, oh my God. If you would only do it, you'll see its benefits. But the thing is, you know, so I'm always trying to make it easier. So this is my easiest method as of, current. So what I do is just half a tab here, so that I can kind of do this and this, because then that closes off the end really well, right? Now, this is tedious, because now this is where somebody comes in and say, why don't you use a drill? Yeah, you can use a drill, but the thing is, if you only make 1 or 2, to get out the drill and making sure it's charged and all of that, it's like, you know what? It doesn't take that long, you guys. So what I want to do is to show you a way that this makes it faster. So I'm going to go and do another little half tab. So I go right here, put another tab right there, because now I'm going to do multi-threading, because this makes it go faster. So I go like this, so that there's actually 3 threads now. So if I do this with 3 threads at a time, it just goes a lot faster. And then now you crank. So to crank, what you have to do is have this curve so that it does this. So now it's almost as fast as if I'm drilling. But you know what? This is so beautiful, and look how long this is, and you can shape it and make some really beautiful structures out of it. It blends in, so it really doesn't impose like a real contrasting necessarily. I mean, sometimes you like contrast for some creative efforts, but sometimes you want it to just blend so that it makes a structure much more airy and supportive. You know, the whole thing is the mechanical aspect of it is really, really important. So when I get to this spot where it runs out, you just do another tab, and then you just continue with 3 ply. So it does go really a lot faster. So I'm telling my students, you have no excuse. I came up with the best method. You've got to do this now. So anyway, that's how it's done. So I want to share that with you. The best part of the vertical design is it's a different concept of designing where you're not using radial. So that means that you're not making size with long stems of flowers, because to do a radial arrangement big, you need long stems. This you can have all short stems. So it could be just little cuttings out of the garden that makes a big design. So a vertical. Quick little methods here. So this is just the wire mesh connected and just hooked over, slipped over, and then just extended by adding, actually there's 3 layers of it. And then these water tubes are attached to the outside. But basically what I do is I take half a tab of U-glue, and where the cross are, I just go and just sort of randomly place it. It's like where I want the water tube, I press the water tube on it, and then we bind wire it. So that it's really, really clean and simple. And so that's how it's made. And then you support it by using the river cane on either side, so that the whole thing is really rigid. because without it, it could still be like this, but that gives it the rigidity. You have the clear water. I mean, it just looks really, and this actually you have to fill it with some water so it's not tippy, that it works. But this is it, a piece of the snag there. But this is kind of what it looks like. Yeah, when you flower it. So I wanted to show you the mechanics on the back side, but this is what it looks like. And so basically it has two pots of that plant. It has just odds and ends, right? It's like only one stem of the Phalaenopsis so far on this side. It doesn't have a lot of flowers. And so I say this is really good for event work. So if I have a table like this, if I have a big budget, maybe I can go 4 columns or 5 columns. If it's a low budget, then I can go 3 columns and go 1, 2, 3. Connect that together with like bamboo, weave some vines through it so that it becomes a big piece with 3 units.
At the workshop, Atrium Design Works showcased their products.
We're the large wholesaler of cut flowers for the island. We import from around the world to service the floral community. We're over here in Wailuku. We have 3 walk-in coolers, a rose cooler, a spring cooler, and a tropical cooler. And we keep those supplied continuously. We have a big shipment that comes in every Sunday, but we also have fresh flowers coming in every single day of the week. So we've got all of your foams, different cages, all of the different sizes, lomi bowls, lomi dishes, all of the things that you might need. So I'm here to service you. So let me know what you need and we'll help you.
The nursery tour on Maui began at Malolo Farm, located on the slopes of Haleakala Volcano, where the cool temperature is perfect for growing protea flowers and plants. Malolo Farm is a certified nursery and ships protea and other Maui-grown flowers to wholesale and retail customers nationwide.
These plants are finished at this end and those are cooking. So we're going to take more cuttings and we'll fill this bench up, and as the stuff goes out, we've got our second greenhouse up and running again, and so we'll fill that one too. We have foliage right now that's going, that's beautiful. There are minks that are happening. That's my meaties. Huh? Yeah, my meaties. These pins here, we got some pins, cushions. And then the little white, see, it's just starting. Yeah. The little flower coming in there. Yeah. This will turn little white.
That will turn white, yeah.
Have a little frosting on there.
What is it called?
It's a brunnea.
It's a brunnea.
Alba flora.
The next stop was Maui Floral in Makawao. They offer a wide range of flowers and bouquets to local markets and ship worldwide.
We are known for our proteas, our king proteas, and our pin cushions. We're known on Maui for our leis. We do a little of everything. Maureen, do you want to add anything?
Maybe just the types of flowers that you are wearing and that we presented to you. So the tuberose are the white one here with a beautiful fragrance, and the orchid here, and then of course the lovely plumeria that smells so great. Some Elema flower, that's the little Elema, the orange one.
These are small hibiscus.
And some of you may have carnations in yours and or roses. But the Elema, the tuberose, and the plumeria are all grown here.
And then Eric and the men have got some tea leaves. Yes.
These are good luck leaves, Bruno.
We ship to supermarkets. We ship to retail florists, wholesale florists across the mainland, distributors, importers. We have a part of our business that's for friends and family. If you want to send flowers to the mainland, we do that as well. We're a participant in the Seal Equality Program, which is an effort to try to make sure that all of our stuff that goes out is #1 grade, locally sourced. Over 51% of all the products are locally sourced.
So this is a processing shed. Everything is brought here. We have an area in the back to process the gingers and exotics, and bring the heliconias in the trough. You got to hose them out, put them in the soap. You know, everything has to be clean so that it can be exported. And so over the years, it's been acquiring new varieties because we recognize that you have to provide product that people are going to keep interested in. You don't want the same old things. This time of year is when the heliconias are on a downside, and this is a heliconia patch. It's one of the originals. It's lobster claw. This is one of the older ones. And there's actually two varieties of these. There's a Grandma Schneana and a Grandpa Schneana. This is the Grandma with the green trim. The Grandpa is with the black trim. This one is called Olympic Flame. And so that's one of the new varieties. And then this one is a new torch ginger also, that actually the only one that has a shelf life. You can pass that around. It's called a Pink Selection. Our nice kahili. This one is called Fukuyu. It's a hybrid from Waimanalo. And this has a real good fragrance. So we diversify as far as not just flowers, but we have a bunch of foliage that we sell also. Eric's been trying throughout the years, and Hefna as a group is to educate people with all the different designer seminars so that people are familiar with and become aware of the availability. And there's are you familiar with the Neill Tropica guidebook? So great, you know, that's one of the educational steps that we're taking to be able to inform people so that when you want to order something, you're able to refer to the book, the page number, the availability, the time of year, you know, all of these factors so that you can become more savvy in your ordering of the particular varieties.
The final workshop was on the island of Hawaii.
Okay, so this one here, same container, same mechanic. So instead, like to get that size so that it doesn't just flop, what I did was take this and just run this through. Like this. A little bit that way, and then maybe another so that it's like this. And then bind wire it down so that it has something that will support. And then you can see I took the middle Inouye extender that's wrapped with that Celadon wire or the yarn, and then I just attached it sort of so that it flows, so that when I put in some of these material, it attaches to that so that it doesn't just flop down.
These are some of the boutonnieres we made yesterday. You know, I mean, look at this cup anthuriums. It's got a little, cute little saucer off of it. You know, every design is different. You know, that's some of the silver bromeliad that I just can't get enough of.
Brought, that was pretty stunning. And the size of like the mini Sims and then the Amnicola, but the richness of color, the combination you know, with the Amaranthus, so gorgeous. And you can see, like, this is Toyama Peach. It just sort of flows. It doesn't just sit. There's a beautiful directional movement.
We've got marigolds grown locally with dahlias and these gorgeous dancing ladies, and then roses and anthuriums and orchids. You know, you've got so much going on, but it doesn't look out of place at all. It just, the colors, everything's just stunning. By the way, all of the hydrangea on this ground right here is locally grown from Waimea. Yep. So I mean, the Big Island has such a diverse climate.
You know, we talked about temperate, some of it being shipped in because of the whole import replacement thing. There's a real kind of initiative for some new young growers to come in here. Like, what the one grower that you have?
His farm is Hawaii Isle Florals. So he is growing the marigolds you see, the snapdragons, the blue delphiniums from him, the dianthus, all of the dianthus, the amaranthus. Things I didn't bring but we get from him every week are sunflowers, We do have some snapdragons. Oh, Queen Anne's lace. This is from him. He does a darker variety Dara. He does seasonal ranunculus. The baby eucalyptus over here is his, the camellia. And because he's in Volcano, he can grow all this product that if I, as a floral shop owner, was to bring in, not only would I be paying airfare on it, it's already been harvested for a minimum of 3 days, and that's being really generous. Probably closer to 5 to 7. The shelf life's going to be shorter. So the more product that we can get locally, it lasts longer, you know? I mean, it just makes more sense.
So much sense. Like the tuberoses.
Yep. Those are all grown locally.
Like for us, when we get tuberoses, they drop. I mean, these are like the nicest, freshest, like the pure white. They all open up. I mean, why would you ship in when it's right here? So that's sort of the message here.
At the workshop, Bromeliads Hawaii showcased their products.
I'm a hybridizer of bromeliads, and I specialize in 4 different genuses: Varieseas, Guzmanias, and Virgilias, basically. And some of these are, like this is one of my hybrids, and it's this one is named after one of my daughters. It's called Variesia Kelsey Shiigi, and I normally name my plants after family, friends, and Hawaiian and Japanese names. And this is something my wife put together today using different types of Guzmania flowers that can be incorporated into wedding arrangements or interior scaping. My daughter recently got married, so of course they use my bromeliads as part of their bouquets. So basically that's what I do.
In conjunction with the workshop, the Friends of Lili'uokalani Gardens in Hilo organized wedding vow renewals for the public. The workshop participants designed floral structures at scenic sites within the garden. Beautiful bouquets, lei, and boutonnieres were provided. The nursery tour on Hawaii Island began at Greenpoint Nurseries, just outside of Hilo.
Welcome to Greenpoint Nursery. We're just entering our 3rd generation. We're known primarily to be an anthurium grower, but we are doing a little bit of orchids now. And what we found is we wanted to try and be a one-stop shop. So we started making friends with tropical flowers and cut foliage people and specialty people that grow different things that we cannot grow. So one thing that you need to realize is for tropical flowers mostly, it really depends on the elevation you're at. So some of our growers are in Volcano or in higher elevation in Kona. We're an exporter or a certified shipper. So all the product that we handle or that we ship, it has to be pest-free. Keep in mind, we still sell to wholesale distributors, we still sell to mass market, but we're taking the high end. So the guys that want quality, wholesalers, or want quality mass market, that's the people we're taking. We're not taking just anyone. We call this the cluster pack. So people who want mass market buys it a little bit like this, and some people who are doing, they just want something quick to sell.
The next stop was California and Hawaii Foliage Growers, a wholesale nursery growing quality dracaenas, palms, and other foliage plants.
There's 2 dracaenas there. That's our #1 seller. Is Dracaena Lisa. You can see that one. Dracaena Lisa is from those 300 acres, we have probably 80% of Dracaena Lisa. It's a really nice indoor plant. They hold a lot longer. Some customers say that plant holds in the office for 2 years. And we got fuel stock 30 years old and it's still producing. It's how you maintain your mother plant. You gotta feed them. How can you beat this beautiful soil? Look, that's why the plants are growing so nice. And this is our #2 seller, Cucanicre compacta. This one we saw quite a few. We start growing this and we call it Randy. Everybody call it as a Ricky, but we call it Randy. Real good indoor plant. This is a new Dracaena. We call it Mauna Loa, like the mountain. And this one is Lisa. We find one plant in the field and then we start cutting, and now we got about 7 acres.
The tour group moved on to Pacific Floral Exchange, a grower and wholesaler of an extensive collection of tropical flowers and foliage.
So welcome to Pacific Floral Exchange. We're in business for like 30 years now, and this is called the Anthurium department. We get flowers harvested from our farms in Pahoa, that's about 20 miles away. They're brought in and put on grading benches, so they're graded for quality and size. Then they're put into inventory there, and then they get put out over there in the form of orders. Then the packers will pack, and the order would go to dispatch. Okay, we produce about 65%, 70% of our own anthuriums from our farms. We have 3 farms in Pahoa. Total acreage is like 36 acres, out of which maybe there's about 20 acres of shade house. In addition to our farm, we have a few anthurium growers, but we have about 50 independent farmers that produce orchids, foliage, birds of paradise, heliconia, ginger, etc.
The final stop on the tour was Hawaiian Sunshine Nursery, a wholesale plant nursery offering many kinds of tropicals and exotics, as well as some cut flowers.
We do sell some cut flowers, bromeliads, pretty much exclusively. We have a byproduct of bromeliads that mostly guzmanias. So if you guzmanias flower lasts a long time. They can last easily for 2-3 weeks or sometimes even longer. This is an example of our cut flower bench. See that we just grow a whole bunch of them, and then they come, we just cut whatever people order. We can stimulate them to bloom anytime. Whatever we want, we stimulate them. Every month, if you want 1,000, we just do 1,000 every month. So we do ship to the mainland, inter-islands. Anywhere in the world, we are set up for it. So we do a lot of certified growings over here. Anything on the bench is certified.
Flower nurseries, processors, distributors, and floral designers provide thousands of jobs in Hawaii. The State of Hawaii Department of Agriculture's Buy Local It Matters campaign is a reminder to purchase Hawaii-grown products. It supports the many small and family-run businesses that comprise the nonprofit Hawaii Floriculture and Nursery Association. Buying local within Hawaii also reduces imports and, in turn, reduces the threat of invasive species. For a copy of the Neotropica Flower and Plant Guide with over 800 photographs, send an email with your mailing address to orderneotropicaguide@gmail.com. A wedding is one of life's most precious events. Make it memorable with exquisite flowers, foliage, and plants grown in Hawaii. Aloha.